Good evening everybody and welcome along to race 8 out of 11. 3 races to go after 2 nights. This week, as the other tiers have been, we are in the Styrian Hills of the Austria Red Bull Ring circuit. Very quick track, a very wet track this week for many tiers. And in the commentary box is Sir Jack Prentice. How are we?
Libby, I'm fine. Fantastic to be here, and no, really am looking forward to this because it's a very short track. Doesn't make it an easy track, despite the relatively simple track that. Because one mistake here, and you're 3 or 4 places back on the grid. So yeah, certainly a track that promises to provide some decent racing here, with mostly long straights and heavy braking zones.
Yes, 10 corners, albeit one of them isn't really a corner. 7 to the right, 3 to the left. Track distance, 4.3 kilometres. It's very, very short. And for that, we have an increased number of laps, 36 this evening. We have DRS zones down to 3, down to 4, and of course, down to number 1. The circuit description is: it's only we, bless it, but the Red Bull Ring packs a lot into a short lap. The first half rewards power as the cars blast along 3 straight, separated by a pair of uphill right-handers, but then as the drivers work their way downhill, the circuit becomes a regular toboggan ride as the cars canyon through a series of quick corners, including the exhilarating ringed right-hander named for Austria's first F1 champion. Jack, what do you make of the circuit from a driver's perspective?
It seems like there's not a lot to do here, but because of the long straights, drivers can run slightly less wing, which makes the car slightly more difficult to drive. Now, it's an entertaining track because it's relatively simple. But it's one of those tracks that any corners that you do get it wrong, and you'll pay for it. There's not an awful lot of runoff area going through the fast sweeping corners, which I'm with Total P's now. If you go at such a wheel onto the grass there, then you lose 2 or 3 tenths, and that really is what this circuit's about. It really is about making it difficult, as Total P does go through the gravel. It really is about making sure that everything is spot on, because one mistake, like I said earlier, is that much further back.
Sector 1 finishes just before turn 3. Sector 2 finishes just before the double left off 7. That's the second of the left-handers. Those are your sectors. Quite quick. On board with, let's find someone you can take us on a lap with. Oh, Calzo now, Jack Prentice. Going down to turn 1. Can you take us on a lap?
Yes, so turn 1, 200 miles an hour, down 4 gears, very briefly. Short shifting to 5th, 100 miles an hour. You need to maximise that exit, really, for best traction, for the best run up the hill now. Turn 2, really a bit of an acceleration zone here. You're braking at just past 100 metres. For turn 3, 50 miles an hour. Pick up the throttle quite early. Use that raised, steep, cambered corner for best exit before, again, another DRS zone, and again at 200 miles an hour, braking downhill into turn 4 and overtaking place there as he loses the back end. Need to keep the car to the right hand side here as the shorter run. Take a bit of the outside curve now for turn 5. Left-hander, very difficult, very clumsy before you go back uphill to another left-handed corner, turn 6 and turn 7. Turn 7 very easy on that right-hand curve to lose the back end, before you then go up and then over a crest, downhill through the penultimate corner at turn 8 at the rink curve, and then again the final apex, and it really is a very short lap, 1 minute, and that is a 1 minute 2.8. Not his best. He did look like he made a mistake there, Calzo, and that's what I mean. One mistake, and he's a 10th off the 5th, and that mistake, I reckon, cost him easily 2 or 3 tenths of a second, that rear end snap of oversteer.
Thank you, Sir Jack Prentice. And got some stats about the circuit, not including 2020. Wins from pole from 31 races is 29%, 23 winners, of course. McLaren are the most successful team with 6 wins. Alan Prost with 3 wins, being the most successful driver. And again, not including 2020, average lap record speed 144 miles an hour, and of course we saw a magnificent race in 2019. I've been told the weather is dry, everybody. So I mean, I was having this discussion last night in the stream and with Jack before we came on air, that having a fully wet race like last night in EU2 was a little bit boring. So I'd rather it be fully dry than anything. But there we go. Fully dry, Jack, so everyone can, I don't know, go full throttle and eke out a podium if they can and go for it. Nearing the end of the season now.
Means you can think a bit more about what you do in terms of dry strategy. I could have done with a bit of just solely dry weather myself, to be perfectly honest. But we'll save that. We'll save that chat. Yeah, so certainly means that some drivers, they're all on soft at the moment, but anybody starting outside the top 10, there'll be 6 cars doing so. Can then either start on fresh soft or start on medium. It'll be very surprised if anybody started on hard. It'll be a gamble too far if I'm being totally honest. Vaporizer is just invalidated at the first corner. He's 12th on a 1 minute 2.9, and that's his second attempt. Now he might have 4 sets of soft tyres on which he can burn up, but that really, it's either that or he might be going again. I think he might be going again. But really, that's not ideal for a man, considered by many to be one of the favourites, and indeed he's showing so, to be one of the favourites for the championship title.
Yeah, we do have updated standards. We'll bring them to you in the formation lap. On board with Fruitful here in his Williams vehicle, hitting turn number 4 as fast as he can. The pole time last night, I think it was a 2.2 or 2.3. I could be wrong, but I think it was. So, and Fruitful put a comment in the chat saying, can the Master hit a 1.9? Now, I don't know if he was referring to himself. I don't know. I don't know who his Master is, or if he's the Master of himself. He's attacking 9 very quickly. He's attacking 10 with all that extra tyre temp that he's got to consider for. He's going to cross the line to 2.3. Still a little bit off at the moment, but that sunlight is probably going to hurt the drivers trying to get their braking zone into turn 1. I heard a lot of him complaining as his teammate crosses the line with a 5.13, a tenth and a half behind him.
So he locked an inside brake going into turn 4. It didn't matter too much, to be perfectly honest. It just sent him right a little bit, but he took a bit of grass on the entrance to turn 4, and on the entrance to turn 5, and he was trying to create a shorter line. And it did look dangerously on the nose, to be perfectly honest, through turn 8 and turn 9, right at the back of the, or right at the end of the lap, and that I think is where he lost a little bit of time there. But still, good enough for pole position at the moment.
Yeah, Rowan would have been pole if it wasn't for his middle sector. He's gone purple first and very, very close on that third. Just 2 tenths off on the second. Alp's about to cross the line. He goes third fastest, 102.519, 6 thousandths of a second behind Rowan. And Rowan is on his lap now. Let's see what he's done first sector. 16 dead, which is incredibly slow, and he's backed off.
Okay, I think most drivers now are sort of finishing the second runs or the third runs. We're on board with Boastman, I am at the moment. He's having a go here now. Going into turn 4, keeps the car to the left hand side. He's got a bit less wing than Calvo because he's going at 202 instead of 201.
Is this Stinson, Jack, sorry, yeah? Just to make sure I'm on board.
Boastman I'm on board with.
Boastman, yeah.
He now guides his way. No, he hits the apex, a bit of a later apex for turn 5 there. That straightens the corner exit up. He's set at a very good second sector, if not, and he's invalidated. Sorry, Boastman, just in the comments. He ran slightly wide at turn 7.
Where's Yarno? Is Yarno on the grid? No? Why does TAS say Yarno?
I can't tell you, but
Okay.
Draco and Milan Malgo are the 2.
Oh, Stinson! He's not out of qualifying. How is he not out of qualifying? He's just absolutely smashed that wall going round turn 1. He is a very lucky man. So at the moment, Yarno on TAS is showing as Stinson. I can confirm that is Stinson. He's just showing as Yarno. I don't know why, but there we go. I don't know how Stinson's not out of quali. If anyone would like to tell me, he's probably hit a 50-60 G there. But fair enough. Who's on that? Calzo just turning out of turn 1 now. Just that car coming out of the pit lane is a Williams just getting out of the way as he came round, as he heads up to turn 1, and it's a 15.824, which is 2.5 tenths off purple pole.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that. He's a tenth off himself, to be honest, but he's using Konzo, his brother, for the draft. Now, we'll see whether this works or not. Certainly got him a couple of miles an hour before he hits the brakes. Snatches an inside brake. Doesn't matter too much the inside right because that's not going to affect his turning too badly. Keeps it to the right hand side. Sector now. Downhill, this corner's really difficult, that penultimate corner. You have to sort of aim and hope for the corner to still be where you left it last time. And if you get it wrong and run slightly wide, that's lap over. And it's not for Calzo, he goes 10th on a 1 minute 2.7. Still not quite what we were expecting from him. But, no, ideal, you know, if he wants to start just outside the top 10. I know he's 10th at the moment, but there's a couple of cars, including Total Season Cool Hands Carter, who haven't actually set a lap time.
Correct. Carter is on a lap, just hitting that turn 7, taking a lot of 8s. The curb anyway, on the right hand side. Two corners to go, 9 and 10. You'll hear me say those numbers a lot tonight. As he comes round, DRS open at the back of his car, crosses the line. It's a 2.647 and he goes 9th fastest. Joey's on a lap. Jack Prentice as he heads in his Alpha down a turn 4. Let's see what the Shizou man can do without no line, I think.
So with Cool Hands Carter, he goes widest of all in terms of entry for the penultimate corner, the start of the rink curve. Took a lot of curb and actually ended up straightening the car up fairly early. So fair play to Cool Hands
Oh
Carter.
no! Fruitful was on a banger. He was on an absolute banger. I think it was a 10.5 up, second sector.
Well, he's headed for the first row on this one. I think you might want to stay with him because he's 2 tenths up in the middle sector alone.
Who's this, sorry?
Joey in the Alfa Romeo. He's just coming across the line now. And he's gone pole. Excellent lap time from Joey. 1 minute 2.3. Another way Fruitful and Rowan up. The 2 Flying Dutchmen have got a bit of a fly on here.
That's a guy with no line. He's really trying, Mr. Joey. I respect that. Still not the 2 dead that we were hoping to see. I mean, we're just matching EU2 at the moment. Of course, we've got 3 runs, and we're only on seconds. But you know, how's Alp doing? Okay, he's not on the lap. Just trying to see any purple things pop up in TAS. I don't see anything at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Rowan's on an out lap. Do you want to watch this one, Jack Prentice?
Yeah, let's watch this because this is going to be certainly committed lap time from Rowan. Another wide entry there. Misses all of 6 seconds. Yeah, so too wide an entry going into the first corner. The curb sort of unsettled the car really, and as soon as he went to the turn in, the back just simply pendulum round. He also missed really the ideal part of the first curve. He missed the ideal part, so he was a bit too far wide there. So
I don't know if you just seen Jack. Stinson just got a mega toe off his teammate down a turn 4. TAS is not showing me anything at the moment.
10th up at the moment, 10.5 up. This will put him solidly in the top 10.
What does he need to be? What's the leader gap at the moment? So he's not 0.4. So he'd only need a couple of attempts to take him into the top 5. Literally, here he is, crosses the line, goes third. Not bad from the Merc.
Had a really smooth final corner that was absolutely perfect in terms of the way he picked the throttle up very early, and it was smooth in the way that he just simply turned out. There was nothing stepping out on him. He really had that hooked up.
Just inviting Muzzer. He's been granted permission to drive in the Ferrari from the back of the grid. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. His invite has been sent. So he should be able to... Oh, another AlphaTauri going off in the wall. And that's a win gone for Total Peas, who's the only man on the grid who hasn't got a time in yet. And will he have time to come into the pits? Probably yes. So he could probably come out with 140 on the clock. But
he's fortunate really in that this is the slowest track, the shortest track. Sorry, one of the quickest lap times. I don't know that he'll make it because it'll take a minute really for that car to get turned around. It'll take him almost a minute to get back, and then he's got to be one of the fastest out laps I think you've seen here. I think he might be starting towards the back. I could be wrong, and I hope for his sake I am, but I don't know that he'll make it for the. I don't know that he'll make it to set another lap time. So I think he might be starting from the back of the grid.
Sabad just put a little picture in the chat saying, "Seeing people post these times as their first runs. Chuckles, I'm in danger." Oh yes. Oh yes, you're in danger.
It's 3 tenths separating the top
Yeah.
11.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Not much then.
No, just about 300s per person. Nothing major.
Half, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
I mean
fair
these cars make this circuit incredible, don't they? I mean the amount of downforce these cars have is just incredible. Here we go then on board. Oh, sorry, cool.
No, you first.
Just watching Joey. I believe he's on no line, which is rather flipping impressive. Oh, he's backed off.
Yeah, he was a bit wide. He
is that why? Because Fufu's gone wide too.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You'll have enough fuel to carry on. He's already flicked it down to keep the most amount of ERS, and I'll save the tyres. Yeah, he was a bit wide, Joey, and it cost himself time. He would have lost him a tenth or so because it really wasn't optimal at all in terms of getting out there. But the good thing for he and there's a Haas in the wall. That's Cool Hans Carter, who's in the barriers. He's gone fourth though, so the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away for the young Canadian.
Vaporizer has started his lap. Dresse Basson around the final corner in his Red Bull car was 8th fastest, stays 8th fastest, 8 thousandths of a second down on his time. Cool Hans, Boseman is coming around the final corner but invalidates. He's going to have to go again. Alfa Romeo is next. That's obviously Rowan out lap. What's that, sorry?
I think he might have retired on track, so I don't think the steward will take very kindly to that, I'm afraid, to say for the young Canadian. But
Calzo's next across on the fast. Here he is, the Renault driver. Can he break into the top 10? Goes 8th fastest.
Lots a bit of time in the final sector. He was 3/10 up in the second sector, or after the second sector, but 8th place will do for the time being.
Rowan is next. He's going to have to go again. Not good.
Yeah, he had invalidated. He was doing a two out laps. He's got plenty of time to do so. It doesn't lose you that much here.
Just trying to work out everybody as we flick through. Vapor's going to cross the line. Go P2, 37 thousandths of a second off that pole sitter at the moment. Joey with 1 minute 2.302. Next to cross is probably Boseman on his 1 lap 1 tyres. He's invalidated. Alfa Romeo next of Joey. He's already put a lap in. Has he gone again? Yeah, I think he has. Red fuel, 6 thousandths of a second down on his second. Throwing it through the final corner. Can he increase his pole time? Does by 1/2 tenth. Not a bad effort. Calzo is probably next to cross. No, it's Conzo. Stays 15th fastest. Vaporize. No, it's Dalp. I wish we had a trap map, JP. Wish we had a trap map.
Lovely. Oh, Fruitful invalidates at the end, so he's not going to improve.
Very good spot. Mercedes of Risa is next to cross, but he's invalidated. Has he passed the checker flag in time? Probably not. Milan's invalidated as well. This is a poor showing, by the way, from most of the drivers. Samad's next. 14th, goes 13th.
Well, he improved at least. Total Peace didn't make it back around in the end.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. I think everything else. Bit of an anti-climax, really, wasn't it?
That was dire.
A little bit.
That was absolutely dire.
It was great to watch because this is such a difficult track, despite the fact it's a simple layout. But yeah.
No, that was dire. I'm sorry. There was about 7 or 8 invalidations from the top 11. Joey though, 2.2. What a lap! First pole of the season from the Alfa Romeo. Fruitful, like you said, invalidated. Well, actually twice. The lap before his final run, and then that one. So his teammate 7th place, for 2 racing points, 2nd and 5th. Stinkson's done well. Risa for winner last week. Pretty sure he was. Was it?
It was indeed.
Yeah, it was. And he's 12th.
Very dominant play, wasn't it? Well, that shows how close this tier is.
I'm using no ABS, leave me alone. Yeah, alright, I'll leave you alone for now. There's the gap though, 3.3 tenths of a second from the top 12. I mean, it's incredibly close. I am not going away from that fact at all. But did they hit their prime?
No.
Total P's though.
It's a track that you really can't hit your prime at, to be honest. If you look at that, I mean, 3/10 separating the top 11, it really is very, very close indeed.
Yeah. And then after that, you've got 5 tenths to, 8 tenths or a couple. Yeah, it's pretty close. Top 14, 15 within 1/2 second. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Not bad. Not saying I could get a 2.2 by the way, because I definitely can't. Probably can't even get into a 2. But there we go.
Yeah, it struggled for me too as well, mate. So, but that's why they're here and we are where we are.
Yeah, yeah. We've got our job.
Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward strategy. This.
Oh yeah.
It'll be it'll be a one stop. It'll be soft to medium or medium to soft.
Okay.
And
I've seen a few people do soft to hard. Is that not a wise move?
Depends how much you chew your tyres up, but that, you really don't want to be doing that as a staple, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Um,
All dry,
yeah,
by the way. You just joined.
The hard tyres will be quite well. They won't heat up very quickly here because there's not an awful lot for them to do.
Yeah.
And they won't. They'll be almost a second slower. So really. Self-damage, you don't really want to be doing that, to be perfectly honest.
We have one red light and the formation lap is underway. Championship standings at the moment, everybody. Racing Point lead the way, 165. And Williams 19 points behind, 146, and Mercedes 122. Red Bull and AlphaTauri for 200 power, 4th and 5th. Drivers' Championship, Vaporizer leads the way by 14 points, 101 to 87. Bolin is on 80, aka Rowan, Fruitful 66, and Alp 64. That is the top 5, and the tyre situation is.
Well,
Ta-da.
The top 10 are always going to be starting on the tyres they qualified on. That'll be soft tyres. It's a bit of a medley. I expected more to be starting on medium tyres. So Milan, Samad, Boastman, and Konzo are on medium. Mazza are in 16th and 17th place Total P's, who probably has a couple of them left over because he didn't manage to set a lap time. And that means that they are hoping that those fresh softs not only give them advantage over the medium runners to start with, but will then give them a bit of an advantage over the those in the second half, really, of that top 10 to try and get themselves up the field. They'll have to be quite aggressive quite early on. It can be difficult to overtake here because everybody will be in DRS, but if you've got slightly fewer or slightly less wings than other drivers around you, you might have a bit more straight line speed, which will give you a bit more joy.
Codemasters takes over the car just before turn 9, parks them on the grid. Not that high tyre temperatures. Looking at the wheel dashes on each of the drivers as we're on board with the Alfa Romeo Joey as he lines up on his spot. He got first in quali. Will he be first by turn 1? It's not that long of a rundown. You can see the markable. It's 50, 100, 150 just in front. Not long at all. Last car on the grid. Total P's is now on his spot. Connection test will be given to all the drivers, and they have all passed. Here we go then. 36 laps of Austria here in the Styrian Hills. It's lights out and away we go. It's Joey versus Vaporizer on the front row of the grid. They both got away quite well. Fruitful's got away even better actually. He's going to be ahead of Vaporizer in a turn 1. Collision between the Racing Point and the Williams, but the Racing Point just makes it through and then gets a little tap in the back. Major damage at the back. 2 cars are off as we head down to turn 3. So Joey ahead of Fruitful, ahead of Vaporizer. Then comes Stinson and the House of Carter is ahead of Alp at the start. And then AlphaTauri trying to get through on the inside. Can't make it through. What happened at the back, Jack? Seems a bit of a mess.
It's Mother and Total Peace got together. They were on the back row, and I don't know how it happened, but both are missing bits of front wing, and both ended up at rather odd angles. I think there might have been involvement maybe with a Renault or another Haas back there. But yeah, all a bit messy. Fruitful got a really good start, was quite firm with Vaporizer. Vaporizer really had to get off the throttle and was tagged by Stinson. I'm amazed Stinson doesn't have significant damage because it was quite a whack. Alp and Carter behind, not normally known for their starting, have maintained 5th and 6th with Rowan, now attacking Carter. Oh no, you'd be a brave man to go down the inside of one of the most aggressive races in the league down there, and he's going to pay for it because Rowan's coming back up the order. He's going back to 7th, not 4th, as your camera might tell you. He's up to 7th, and yeah, no, he's back where he started. Opportunistic driving for Rowan, who has been one of the stronger drivers when he's made it to the races.
I agree. I don't know how Stinson didn't get major damage, but unfortunately he didn't. Cobas's has their little glitch. Torpedoes retired in the pit lane, and whilst the standings refresh, we're just on board with Rowan, who's behind Carter at the moment. And someone's going down on the inside. It's Reeser working his way up from 12th on the grid. Now he's 8th.
Those fresh tyres really have paid dividends for the Mercedes, because when this shakes out, he'll be 7th. He started all the way back in 12th, so he's really been aggressive on the opening lap. And that means now that he's really in the race, because he can get after them, especially 6th and 7th ahead. He can really get after them, and now that DRS is going to start up, or going to be activated, on the 3rd lap, that means now that he's going to be able to attack the car ahead.
Every single car within 6 seconds. The leader at the moment, apart from Muzzer at the back, who had an incident he's throwing in for Ferrari. We start lap 3 on board with Joey as we head down to turn 3, and of course, as Jack said, DRS is now on, so the drivers can use it if they're within a second. So Fruitful and Vaporizer swap at the front. Fruitful got a good second phase. First phase was pretty equal, I thought. Reese at 5. You can see the position changes on screen. Rowan and Dracer Basson have swapped. Rowan and Calzo are down to each. Fruitful is really pushing early on at the start of his race.
Reese around the outside of Carter. Carter leaves him just about a car's width, but he's going to have the inside Reeser for the left-hander, and he takes the position. It's Candy from a baby. He outbrakes himself a little bit going into turn 5, but that's decent driving there, because that makes the corner Carter's problem, and he's now up into 6th place. He's a quicker car at the moment, so watch him maybe get into the 5th and 4th ahead.
Burnt all his battery though, hasn't he? And 6% damage to Vaporizer's front left. It's not an end plate loss, but it's some loss. Maybe half a tenth or whatever. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Still within DRS of Fruitful, of course. And how long is this DRS train going to be? There is a bit of a gap, isn't there, between Alp and Reeser, 1.6 seconds. So Reeser's going to have to do his best not to get overtaken from behind, but also catch that pack in front.
He got a reprieve out of turn 1 because Carter lost the back end on exit, and so lost himself 2 tenths and really cost himself the chance to overtake. He's not burning any of his battery now, so he's keeping DRS open, which means that he's going to try and at least hang in for the moment. Reese has burnt battery again coming out of there. I don't know why he's doing this, because at the end of the day, he's just going to have nothing down the straight, and he's just going to be a sitting duck for Carter if Carter manages to stay within half a second.
60. Yeah, just checking the damage from the lap 1. So it did seem to be those 2 cars that you said that were involved. It says player 16. I don't know who that is.
That might be Mugger, but
yeah, it might be.
It depends on the car. But either
Yeah,
way, Fruitful is all over the back of Joey. Joey's really going to have to work hard to stay in the lead. Easy track as well to invalidate on, so I suspect Fruitful's going for a move, Limmy.
This time is coming to an end as race leader, because this Williams is flying past as we head into turn 3. And Fruitful, as someone just said in the stream chat, is smelling a victory. But Joey will be smelling it too. He's got to be patient, both on very high batteries. Joey's just a little bit higher. But there is a new race leader, Jack, as you said, and Fruitful is smelling a victory.
We were watching that, and Stinson, if you've noticed, has passed Vaporizer. Stinson's another man with a bit of pace about him. Vaporizer's dropped back behind, but he's kept a bit of ERS. I think it's going to be an ERS race. There's a Ferrari in the wall. That must be Muzzer on the final corner, and it's not been a fill-in and not been an EU1 re-debut for Muzzer to remember.
Yeah, that might be a... the leader's about to catch me. I may retire in the pit. So it's for 2 racing points together now in 4th and 5th. Stinson in 3rd place. Fruitful's leading the way ahead of Joey. 105.7, 3.5 seconds quicker than the quali times. Boseman is the first man on track to be given a penalty, but certainly won't be the last. And have you noticed the grid is now literally all softs than all mediums? It's interesting.
Yeah. So it tells me that there's 2 sort of very different strategies. Anybody from 12th backwards is just going to try and sort of see how this patterns out, really, because when the mediums come back in, if you can stay in the DRS train, you'll have some joy later on, because when the mediums do come back in and the softs go, the seesaw, if you like, really does change. So it's like having a large man stand up in terms of the difference between your softs and your mediums in terms of the momentum change. So Milan Malgo is only right far Milan as he now is. There's only 6 tenths behind Calzo, so he will be part of this DRS train that's been headed by Risa. Risa, who is doing a nice job of getting away from Carter, just about. He's starting to extend the gap, and he is almost a second behind Alp. But what this means is that the medium runners will have plenty of joy from probably 3 or 4 laps from now as the softs start to lose their edge.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you can say to that pack, the more chance you'll have of overtaking later on, the softs. Clear to see. Acting very well at the moment, and there has been an overtake. Rowan, aka Bowen, has got past Carter.
Absolutely mugged Carter into turn 3.
Mugged as in outplayed, or?
Yes. Yeah, certainly seems to be all arms and elbows as, oh dear. Carter comes back and nearly
You know he hit it, didn't he?
Yeah, nearly helped up with a chunk of Rowan's rear wing. All fair, though, all kept on going. And no, he's off.
Who's off? I
Too
can't
early
see.
on the power car.
Oh, yeah.
I was on board with him as he was trying to come back from Rowan. I was on board with him, and he's trying to get on track. I don't think the stewards might take a bit of a dim view there.
That's a safety.
He got a bit too early. Yeah, he got a bit too early on the throttle, and the back end just snapped away. The front ends are still gripping, but the rears just went sayonara, and off to the sandy went.
Vaporizer and Fruitful have been given 3-second time penalties. That is not what you want when we have seen the top drivers in EU1 try and limit their penalties, and now there is a responsibility for Joey, Stinson, Alp and Risa, whoever out of those lot who think can get a podium, to not get any more penalties to withstand that chance. Stinson's getting very close to that Alpha, taps him a little bit and waits.
Yeah, didn't do much for him, it just unsettled him. There's no issues there. Joey's kept 95% of his battery.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I think he wants to get into esports, and they do say the more battery you can save, the better. Surely, I mean, if you can stick within, I mean, you can see all the pros. They keep like 70 plus battery, every single one of them, most of the time, and it really helps. Like badly. I mean, the car behind him's on 30, the car in front of him's on 40. He's on more than double them plus another bit.
It means that he'll have a bit of boost when they come to pit. They'll all be pitting at roughly the same time. It means he'll have quite an advantage over Fruitful. He's got twice the battery left, and at worst case scenario, when he's getting into the braking zone, he's at 82. But he gained 14% on the brakes there, so you know he's got quite a lot in hand over the cars around him. It really is impressive. Vaporizer's doing the same trick. Vaporizer's got 90% as well, so you know it really is good tactics, because it means that when they do come into pit, when they do need to push, because he saves so much through the pit lane, that's when it's go time as far as they're concerned.
On board with Fruitful's gearbox, and we can see he is starting to pull a tiny gap, but of course Joey's still within that range, and then the cars are very, very close. We can put the leader gap on screen very, very quickly. The top, I mean, we can call it top 10 within 5 seconds, 6 seconds for 11th, so it's all very, very close, as we expected, Jack, of course, if it was dry, and it is dry.
Yes, so what it means now is that it's just simply going to be a straight fight. They'll probably be in for probably lap 11 or lap 12.
I think Stinson might go here. If Joey leaves the door open, which he is going to leave the door open because Fruitful couldn't really go anywhere. And the Mercedes is trying to go around the outside. There's a lot of side podding and wheel banging. I don't even know if side podding's a word as they go wheel to wheel now. Down at turn 4. Alfa Romeo's got the inside and the Mercedes round the outside. They're both going to throw it in. Lock up from the pair. But I think the Alfa Romeo has just won that battle.
Yeah. Stinson ran out of the RS, whereas Joey's had to spend a bit now. He's got down to 60, and it gives Fruitful a bit of breathing space. Fruitful can, okay, it's 2 extra tenths. It's not life-changing for him, but it just means that Joey's now back towards sort of Fruitful's level in terms of the RS, and kind of evens itself out. Stinson has gone to the pit lane. Alp's got himself a penalty, so a lot of things happening now.
Quality racing from the pair of them there. And yeah, just making sure it wasn't a wind damage chain. Definitely is. He's opted for the hards, Jack Stinson, on lap after 10 laps completed of 36.
Maybe he's going for the undercut. I'm a bit surprised to see some drivers in early for hard tyres after I constantly predicted that they wouldn't.
Is it like a clear track I can put my foot
Partly
down
that,
kind of thing?
they will be faster now anyway. They will be faster, but I don't see that they'll hold on with any great pace towards, you know, the last sort of 6 or 7 laps. Okay, the mediums won't have great pace at the last 6 or 7 laps, but they'll be about a second a lap faster when they do put them on. And what you gain here, you're going to lose through the next, through the next sort of 10, 15 laps or so, when the guys ahead pit. Interesting to see now what Fruitful, Joey, Vaporizer and Alp do. Obviously, Reese is coming. Oh, he thought about coming into the pits, Reese, and it looks like Fruitful has he pitted? No.
Yeah. He
has.
Yeah.
Locked up into the pits and keeps it going.
Yeah, the admins have been really strict on this illegal pit entry, and that is, of course, you have to stay within the white line from the start before turn 9 until you go in. You can't make any late changes. You can't go past turn 9 and go, yeah, I'll do a Lewis Hamilton Germany and go in. It's got to be, yeah.
It'll be close. I think Stinson's got Fruitful just about. Yeah, he has.
Has he?
But he's got a lot less battery power, so he really did push it on that outlap. Yeah, no, rightly so, Limmy, because if you enter the pits, you know, in a dangerous manner, if you enter the pits outside of that white line, then, you know, you risk causing quite a huge accident. We saw issues last night with pit entry, and I think it's, 20 seconds is actually quite kind for the damage that you could do. But it still acts as quite a deterrent, and it's something I fully back, to be perfectly honest with you, because of the issues that could happen if you don't respect that pit entry.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that pit entry is it gets very close, doesn't it, when you're within that line, and you want it to stay as close within that line but also push it as you go into the pits. So the cars are flying through turn 9 so quickly, it is very tight. Yeah, it is what it is.
It's tough luck. That's part of the challenge.
Yeah, it's just you don't want to see, all it takes is one wrong pit entry and you smash into someone coming through turn 9, doesn't it? No, yes, the guys at the front staying out for mediums, I take it, like you said before the race.
Yes, so there's 6 of them out there doing it. Calzo's dropped off the back of the DRS train that's currently ranging from Joey to Rowan. And then you've got Milan behind him. Milan's 3/10 of a second behind him, looking very, very racy. His teammate Dre Sebastian has pitted, or Up Racing as we now call him, as Fruitful passes Stinson in turn 4, so that was candy from a baby there. But yes, these medium runners, this is where things come in for them. I think you've got a couple of drivers now on soft tyres, they're all pitting,
and Alp chooses. Was he the car behind? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, he's got to stay out. He's got to stay out.
Why are we getting mean in the chat? Let's behave ourselves in the chat, please. Come on. Okay.
The referee's got his whistle in his card now.
Get me red card out in a sec.
Back to the racing. Yeah, so these drivers are all going for 23 laps on medium tyres. They'll be poor towards the end, but they'll be great during this middle stint.
Oh wait, switcheroo for Milan, that was awesome. I was going to let it play out while you were talking, but that was amazing between Milan and Samad. So Samad got ahead, Milan broke early, then switcherooed and then got back at him. I love that.
Yeah, I think Samad might be having another go again soon. He's got a bit more battery to play with, and these two have been very similar in pace throughout most of the race.
Yeah, sorry, go back to your point. I didn't want to miss that though. Oh, is there something going on at P9 level? Oh, there is. We got cars going wheel to wheel here between Vaporizer and Dresse Basson, and Vaporizer won't want to get held up here. Dresse Basson's putting a fight on the hards as they go wheel to wheel through turn number 6. They both make it through. Vaporizer getting very close to that limit of how much room do I give you, sir? But maybe enough was left.
That was perfect. Yeah, he really blocked the exit, which is quite a bog standard overtaking move. If you go around the outside, just break the exit and make the quarter exit, the car on the inside problem. But yeah, this is where the medium runners, Alp, Vaporizer, and Joey really have to put the hammer down. And I think Rowan's crashed.
Oh dear. He's retired in the pit lane, and that was a guy who's third in the championship. And one of the,
yeah,
I mean,
so something must have happened there. I can only think that he's lost the front wing somewhere along the line.
Oh, it's getting close between the two IFR people. IFR Tracer Basson and IFR Reese. They plummet 195 miles an hour wheel to wheel, but Tracer's going to have a problem because he's got a racing point of away. Reese is going to have a problem too, and it stays the same order. Just Tracer Basson, what an exit that is for turn number 4, and he's going to have the inside. Reese is going to throw it as well. Oh, someone else is getting involved. This was 3 wide, I think. Out gets pushed onto the gravel there, but he is ahead of Tracer Basson, and Tracer's lost it. He's also here now for Taui in the middle of that too, and it was Rowan. Oh no.
It was always going to happen, wasn't it? Problem is, when out goes 3 wide there.
It was 3 wide, wasn't it? I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah, so Tracer can't see where Alp is. I don't think it was necessarily 3 wide them all level, but they were all on 3 cars very close together on all different lines. So that was where the problem was always going to be. Now, Tracer there, it's a bit of a shame to see Rowan retire in the pits. All it takes is 1 safety car and he's back in. But Tracer there wouldn't have known that the Alp was necessarily there. Reese left a bit of room. It's a bit of understeer for Tracer that's caused him to run into the side of the car to his outside, and then Alp at that point really does have to take to the grass. It's a bit of a surprise to see him there, and then obviously he lights the rear tyres up because the rear's already a bit hotter from the half spin, and that's where Rowan finds himself. I'm surprised to see him retire from the pits there, though. I think that's might be a bit premature with only half the race to go.
He's not had it good to him, has he, Rowan? Remember what happened in Japan with Alp? And then, obviously, that wasn't caused by Alp, but it was an effect of Alp coming in to try and get involved. Ricciardo says, snap of oversteer from Ricky and took Rowan with him. It's just unlucky, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think Ricky summed it up perfectly there. It is a snap of oversteer. He lit the rear tyres up, and unfortunately, if there's another car there, once the front tyres grip, you're off straight to the scene, really.
Milan is ahead of Samad at the front. They're yet to pit. They're going on softs later. Fruitful's ahead of Stinson. Then ahead of Joey. Joey's on the medium. So is Vaporizer, 2.7 behind him. And Fruitful Stinson on the hard tyre, as you can see. So we've got to keep an eye on this battle. Those two... Sorry, Fruitful with the penalty and the 2 behind him without. Risa hasn't got a penalty either, doing well from 12th on the grid from the quali session that he wouldn't have wanted. And we've seen this season that it's not all done in quali, is it? You could finish, okay, let's take 12th as an example, but we've seen worse, and you can end up getting top 5 at the end of a race. So it's not the end of the world, is it, really?
No. There's always a possibility around this track for a safety car too. And I'm surprised that those drivers who started early sort of didn't really recognise that, because around here, it takes one mistake, you're on those awkward curves and you're in the wall. So I think it's fine with boys. I think Milan, Samad and Boastman, okay, they're only 3 seconds and 6 seconds clear of Fruitful respectively, but they've really got a chance here if they play this right. They only need to be on those medium tyres for probably another 4 laps or so. They'll have fresh softs, track will have rubbered in, fuel loads will be down, and then they'll be able to really get the hammer down.
Yeah, Stinson is ahead. Oh, Fruitful there. I was on board with something else. Just saw the arrows flicker, and we got a new net race leader of the Mercedes of Stinson. Hasn't won a race this season, hasn't got a pole either, but he's leading the Austrian Grand Prix in net at the moment, because of course the 3 cars ahead of him have to pit. And he's looking to pull away from Fruitful as well. He's absolutely banging it on. You can push the hards to the end. I don't think where's going to be a problem. He's getting his foot down, Mr. Stinson.
Boastman pits. Be ambitious to get the soft tyres to the end from there after 18 laps.
He's ambitious.
Yeah, Stinson has played it well so far. But they've got to be aware that Joey's behind. And if Joey can really put those mediums to good use, they'll still be in good hands, these medium tyres at this point. They've already taken 3 seconds off of these 2 cars when they're battling, and it's got Vaporizer now, 1.8 and 3.3 seconds behind respectively. They've really got to watch out and see that they don't hold each other too much, Fruitful and Stinson.
So there are some close gaps. Risa to Alp, Joey to Fruitful, and Fruitful to Stinson, and Samad to Milan. What's the leader gap then? So if Milan and what we say in the average pit time losses, I can check on my website. I know it gives a rough guidance. What does it say? It says 22. That's quite a lot. I don't think you lose that much. But
yeah, well, it's a fast. To be fair, it's a fairly tight, fairly slow pit entry in comparison to a lot of other tracks, and you're going very, very quickly at all points around pit entry and pit exit. Whereas in the pit lane, obviously, you're limited to 50 miles an hour. So no, I can see that, to be honest, of being about 22 seconds.
well, Milan's just come out. He was the leader, so the leader gap now 17.7 to Samad.
About five, yeah, he was about 5 seconds clear, so that figures.
It wasn't clear of Samad though, was he? He was right behind Samad, so it would have been correct. So 18 then. Call it 18.
Yeah. Fair play. No, it does also doesn't always take into account, I don't think, the stop time. If that makes sense.
It's just interesting to see, isn't it? Because obviously we can now compare. Obviously, where people
Milan's gone for hard tyres. I'm really surprised he's gone for hard tyres. He may as well have stayed out on mediums for another 2 or 3 laps and given softs.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus, yeah. 79% is Samad's front left medium.
He'll be okay though once he does put the soft tyres on, and at this point you may as well gamble, because what you've done there is you've spent a bit of time on worn tyres, only to then put more durable tyres on for less time. So you may as well have given it a bit of a gamble, to be honest. Or certainly I would have done in his situation. That being said, I am just an EU3 driver.
Yeah, Milan, Dressé Bassin, the 2 Red Bulls having a battle, but I think they'll be a little bit nicer to each other as he heads in a turn 3. And he's ahead of his teammate on that fresh batch of new hard tyres. So lap 21 of 36, of course over halfway through, 15 to go when we cross the line. Had a lot of action so far. What action is to come? Stinson, I don't know if you've mentioned, but he has picked up a penalty.
Yeah, Samad pits. So let's see, I'll be interested to see. I'm going to stay on board with him, see what tyres he goes on to.
Go for it. Go for it.
What are they preparing there? He's gambling. He's going for soft tyres. I think he's got a fresh set of softs. So once he gets it going again, soft tyres. We're going to see a very quick, very feisty Ferrari come past, and Dracer and Milan are slowing each other up. They're battling. So I think if he's not got the drop on them, he'll certainly be a lot closer than he should have been. And I think he has got the drop on Milan. So expertly played there from Samad. He's going to have to use his battery and get on the defensive a little bit. Milan goes down the inside. Oh, tags him. Tags him. I don't know how they survived that.
They have though.
Milan was tagging him from one end, and Samad's obviously giving Dracer headaches on the other side. That could have been very nasty.
Yeah, I just missed the start of it, but I did get there, and that's because Joey got ahead of Fruitful at the front of the pack. Very important for the Alfa Romeo, who at the moment 6 on 0 penalties. We can check the task system to see how many warnings he's on. He's on 1 warning. Vaporizer and out on 5.
Yeah, he will have to get the hammer down though, because at this point he's the only person without warnings.
Okay.
But these tyres, or without warnings, without a penalty, but these tyres are finite and they will go quicker than the hard tyres. So we've got to try and control the race really from the front. Fitted slightly early, but late enough to be able to probably get these to the end without too much issue. But yeah, really, he's got to get to the front and try and control it from there, try and look after that front left tyre when he's not behind Stinson. Stinson, who still has a bit of battery left, but nowhere near as much as Joey does. Joey is now bringing Fruitful along for the ride.
And the racing points have swapped. Alp is ahead of Vaporizer, and leader gap for Samad 14 seconds, and he's got 14 laps to do anything about it. Where's Stinson in the standings? I can't find his name. Okay, 9th place, 34 points. He could get 75% of his points in a race win here, but as it stands, he won't be getting it because he'll need Joey to get a penalty and of course to stay ahead of the Alfa Romeo car. Is it a tough ask? Yes, of course it is. But Jack's alluding to here, the mediums might have a drop off at some point. Is he going to go down the inside? No. Makes a good decision, or he was going to swipe into the sideboard of that Mercedes car. Is he going to have another go down a turn 4? Is Stinson going to leave the door open? Pulls over to the right. Oh, is he going for a switcheroo? And Stinson has to leave the room because it's a good move and a good attempt. Is it enough as they go wheel to wheel? The two race leaders head towards turn 6. And who's going to come out on top between the two of them? They're both hanging it out, but none of them are going to give it up as we go through turn 7 now. And they're both within track limits. Bit of a wheel bang. The Alfa Romeo is just through.
I think Joey's trying to let him through. I think Joey would have been told to let him through, which is a bit of a shame really, because it was excellent racing from the two of them. And yeah, side by side, you really can go through there side by side if you trust the car on the outside. There was a little bit of wheel banging there, but I thought it was perfectly judged from the pair of them. And I think it's a shame that Codemasters have had to intervene, because there wasn't much more that Joey could do, and he was putting on a show.
And he's done a Verstappen in Bahrain, where he didn't really let go of the car in best, but he's coming back for a lap later in a turn 3, and Fruitful's coming in too in his Williams car, but he hasn't got the exit power required, exit traction, sorry. But Joey, this one, fully legal, and he's ahead. Fruitful's coming back, yeah, after you.
Yeah, so Fruitful having a piece of the action there, so great exit from the Williams, really opportunistic driving. Joey really beat Stinson up, to be perfectly honest, going into that third corner, or the turn 2 as most normal folk will call it, because what he did, he left almost no room on the exit there. Stinson's getting a bit wild now. He left no room on the entrance there, which then compromised Stinson's exit. And that means that Joey could then dictate when the corner was taken by the pair of them and get away. Fruitful now has caught the back of Joey, so that tells me that those hearts are starting to come back in.
Absolutely, on board with Joey's gearbox, and we can see, well, we can't see what he's looking at, but I bet you my life that he's looking behind him constantly as Alp is right behind Stinson as well, going down to turn 3. Fruitful's not going to make the move, neither is Alp, and they stay behind each other. Fruitful took an interesting line there, more of an inside one. Is that going to help him down to turn 4? It might do, Jack. I'll let you have this one.
Outside, he's going to try and block the exit. Joey leaves enough room. You have to brake really late and just sort of block it, hang it out there. The car's going to have to leave a bit of room there, and then he's going to try and... It's a longer run to the inside. That's why he has to tuck in. So really there, that corner favours the inside run from turn 4.
Mercedes!
Stinton's off. Stinton's off.
No!
I think he's damaged. I can see shards all over
I
the
can
place
see shards,
there.
but I see M plates.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is such a shame, and he's going to have gravel. The tyres are going to be hot. You can see on the dash 107. Rear right.
A pit if he's got damage. He's not
I don't think he does.
No, that tells me he's not got damage.
There were shards though, you are right. There were
might
shards.
Well have been corner boards, so all that's damaged at the moment is an ego.
Wait, Alpa's
now,
pitted.
Alp pit for a front wing. I think there may have been contact.
Ah.
But Alp pits for a front wing and puts on fresh soft. I think that the two might not necessarily be unrelated.
Yeah.
Penalty. Samad's really fast. He's 0.6 of a second behind Calzo. About 1.5 laps ago, he was about 12 seconds behind him. He's really caught him. I'm exaggerating, of course, but he has really caught him. Those soft tyres still giving plenty of grip, but now he has to clear the Renault quickly and get up the road because those soft tyres will drop.
Maybe exaggerating on the time, but not exaggerating on the quickness. His leader gap was 14.5. It's now 10.5. 3 laps later, so he's still on track if he could do a second a lap. But I think that's quite an ask. Yeah, what happened between Stinson and Alp? Interesting. You jinxed it. All my fault? No, never. Never my fault. I overtake the back. Okay, so yeah, so Alp's on softs. Safety car would help him out, wouldn't it? Don't say no to a late safety car. Never.
I think safety car might be a bit of a problem for him because then everybody else would pick the soft tyres.
But he'd move up. Would he move up? Oh no, he won't, would he? Yeah.
He'd close up, but that's it. And I mean, he's going to close up anyway. I mean, he's 9 seconds down behind Konzo. Konzo and Dracer, who hit problems early and stayed in the race. There's why you do so, because you might just pick up from scratch. Oh, Fruitful! Back end goes. Very lucky to keep it out the wall there. Joey says, thank you very much. I'll have that place back.
Good spot, because my camera was behind the wall, like on the left hand side, because the track curves to the right, so I couldn't see it. But good spot.
I was riding on board. So big snap of oversteer there. He just put the power down on a little bit too early, give it a little bit too much welly. Those hard tyres, while they'll be better than the mediums towards the end, they're not going to be perfect and they are going to be struggling a bit. But yeah, very fortunate to keep himself out of the wall. Quick thinking, but that would have wook him up a bit.
Hard should be the faster tyre now. Agree or disagree, Mr. Prentice?
Level out at the moment because Vaporizer is still staying just ahead of Risa and still giving Brutal headache. The pendulum I described earlier, the sort of seesaw I described earlier, it isn't too far away, but it's not there yet.
Just want to point out that Vaporizer has been carrying that 6% for the rest of the race. Now I'm not saying it's a big effect, but it's some effect, whether it's 100th or something. It always adds up over 36 laps.
You'll notice it more than you think, mostly over long runs. You won't notice
we got Stinson battering again 1 second. Jack, has he got it done on the Red Bull? His tyres have come into a better window than they were before. Around the outside, no. Milan has got it back. We'll go back to the hard discussion.
On fuel, a little bit. Milan's a little bit more perilous on fuel from what Codemasters are saying. He's on younger tyres, Milan, so he should just about get away if Stinson did ruin his tyres, and I suspect there would have been issues caused by that trip through the sand. Yeah, you just at this point for Stinson, you've got to make sure he doesn't drive too angry. He can drive a bit angry, but if he drives too angry, he'll have himself another accident, and then there'll be problems. Alp's going to finish behind him at this point. Alp's taking 3 seconds out of Konzo ahead of him, but he won't get much further than probably Konzo after that, because he's got 10 seconds to go before he catches Dracer and Stinson, so that's not going to happen. But Stinson's still going to score good points, whether it's 7th or 8th, so he should really hang on in there.
There was clear evidence, though, at one point that Stinson was the fastest man on track, and keeping that lead with a car that had DRS behind as well. It's just a shame, but whatever happened, happened, and we'll be able to see it after the race, of course. We can't just go back to something, unfortunately, not like Sky Sports F1. But, yeah, and it ruined Alp as well, because I know he's on softs and he'll probably just be able to scrape into the points with the time he's got left, but both of them, it's killed them both, hasn't it, really? Stinson could have been on for 15 points, and now he's going to get a maximum of 4, 6, maybe, at a push.
Yes, but it's important to keep hold of it because there's so much more at stake than just drivers. There's the constructors and the overall constructors. It's just got to make sure really that.
Stand by! Race lead overtake attempts. Oh, he's trying. He's fruitful. He's trying. He went round the outside this time. Well, he might have gone round the outside when Jack said, but gone round the outside this time. Can't make it through. Joey's defending very well.
Firm. That was firm, but Joey's mediums are starting to struggle here, and Fruitful realises that now he has to get up the road. He has to get past Joey quickly, because if he doesn't, then the penalty that he's got, whereas Joey looks like he's staying within track limits just for the time, Fruitful has obviously not managed to do that at all times, so he needs to really get gone from Joey. He really does need to. Turn 4 is the best place to do it, because that's the least amount of DRS time, or the longest between the third DRS zone and the first DRS zone. You've still got a whole sector to go, so you really have to set him up nicely out of turn 3. Just make sure he's early on the power, just make sure that he's got plenty of traction. He does, he's got much better braking. We should have him into turn 4.
Let's
ran out of DRS as well.
See. Yeah, red lights flickering, aren't they? He's going to try again, but I don't think he's going to pay off. Oh, well, it's better. It's better. It's a lot better. There we go. It does pay off. He's ahead.
Joey tried to run him out wide, and all that did was unsettle his rear end a little bit. It was perfectly firm but fair racing from Joey, but he tried to run him out. It unsettles his rear end, costs him traction, and Fruitful with the high ground and the best line into turn 5 gets the move done.
Joey's had the glitch on TAS again where it doesn't actually show the tyre wear, but I can compare Vaporizer and Risa, and Vaporizer's is 70 where the hards is 64, I think.
They'll be bad is the technical term. Samad has got Calzo back behind him again, so those softs are starting to struggle, whereas Calzo's thinking, I think I might like this place.
Risa dive bomb. It's not really a dive bomb, but he's going for it. Down the inside, Risa versus Vaporizer from 12th on the grid, Risa, and he might be in the top three.
Okay.
Oh, that was contact. That was a shunt by Vaporizer, who's going to try and come back, but he can't. He's going to get messy. He's going to hit me Alfa Romeo, but he's hit himself really. And Risa said, "Thank you very much. I'll take both of you."
Yeah, the stewards are going to have a look at that because Risa moved in the braking zone for me. He moved to.
Well, I think Vaporizer hit him very harshly before they started that rundown, and I don't know why he hit into it because it wasn't a loss of traction.
Separate incident. So what happens there is, he's wounded now. Vaporizer. I don't think he's going to score much in the way of points.
Has he got damage? He's driving home.
Yeah,
he has 44.
Quite heavy damage. Yeah, it's a separate incident though, and once Vaporizer makes the move, Risa squeezed him onto the grass a little bit, reacted rather than sort of proactive, if that makes sense. He was.
Yeah, you're right, but we saw
regardless of whether they hit each other out of turn 3, it doesn't affect what they're doing to turn 4. So he moves over. At that point, Vaporizer's forced onto the grass, has no brakes, and finds himself in the side of Joey. That might cost Joey the victory, because obviously now it's 2 seconds to Fruitful, and it sent Joey off into the gravel.
Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I saw an incident this week, given that, okay, well there was hard racing the corner before, so we'll count this one as hard racing too, the corner after. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I don't know why there was any need for any hit, but also at the same time you've got to behave yourself.
It might well have been a side pod glitch coming out of turn 3, but regardless of whether there was any malice.
Oh, not enough room was left. There's no argument about that. But I don't know why Vaporizer brakes so late. I don't understand.
At the right time until he got moved onto the grass, and at that point he toboggans into Fruitful. So no, I've got sympathy there with Vaporizer because I don't think that was his fault. I think if he carries on, he'll probably finish 6th or 7th.
I need to get my red cards out again. Controversy in EU1 every week, and I mean the stewards, like you say, we're gonna have to have a look at it. I mean, I'm sure Vaporizer will put that in, but we digress. 2 laps to go. I got a pretty good view on the stream, by the way, and Calzo's coming down at some contact between the two. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know who hit who, but they both turned in at the wrong time and give each other a bit of a tough kiss, shall I say?
Yes.
Did you see it?
A Glaswegian kiss. Yeah, no, I did see it. It was a bit of a Glaswegian kiss. He is from Scotland after all.
What's that? Glaswegian.
I'll educate you afterwards, but certain might know what I mean there. So yeah,
Glasgow and Norwegian.
Yeah, but Glaswegian is Glasgow.
Okay.
But I'll educate you on what that means later on. Meanwhile, final lap: Risa versus Fruitful. 2 heavyweight boxes slugging it out with little energy they have left, and that's exactly what this is because neither of them have any energy left. Joey looks like he's going to hang on to win this because he's only 2.5 seconds behind 2 cars who are going to focus more on each other than they are. Yeah, I think that's pretty certain, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I know what you're thinking, and you're thinking a Risa penalty. But it's up to the stewards, of course. And if he does get a penalty, he's only got to move him down 1 at the moment. Well, it depends what it is. But I think Joey, if he can stay, it's going to be close, though, isn't it? It's 2.8. Oh, he's going to go down to 2 tenths. Oh, Fruitful's gone wide. Why has he done that?
I think he's out of fuel.
Is he out of fuel?
Is he out of fuel? No, he's got a puncture.
He's got a puncture. That's what it is. And what's Joey going to do? He needs to get a move on as Fruitful goes wide.
Rear left puncture for Fruitful. That's what caused him to... gutting for Fruitful.
Joey 2.964. If it matters, it may matter. It may matter. We don't know.
It won't matter because if there is anything to be given, it will be started with a 5 at the very least. So no, that'll be fine.
Well, that's what I mean. If there isn't. Yeah.
Vaporizes the 5 to 8. Good credit to him for sticking with it because it would have been easy for him to have been a bit frustrated, for want of a better phrase. But
it got a bit messy at the end, everybody. It got a bit messy. You're surprised at the puncture. His tyre was 78, 79, I think. Oh, it doesn't say. Yeah, it says his minimum was 74, but I believe it was about 6% higher.
It went early, yeah. It doesn't normally go at 80. Not yet, anyway.
It got a bit messy. It got a bit messy, didn't it, Jack Prentice? At the end, it got a
Yeah.
bit feisty.
Simpsons explained that Alp didn't help him. Alp was merely a victim.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I'm just going to get these drivers in.
Yeah, that's how quick off-streak can be done. 40 minutes. We'll scroll down so Danielle doesn't give me the boot. And we'll make sure we get those standings correct, and then we can read them off from the top. So Rowan, Carter and Total P. I mean, yeah, fair play to Risa, won the race. We'll see what happens with the Stewart team. 13th to 5th for some... Excuse me, I got hiccups. Tracy, 10th to 6th. Cowser, 9th to 4th. A very good effort from the Renault driver. And Milan scoring 2 points. Vaporizer dropping to 8th. Stinson to 7th. And Alp managed to get that point and the fastest lap at the end of a pretty intense Grand Prix, especially at the end. Everyone in the chat, I'm sure, has got your opinions. We have ours. I trust Jack's more than mine, and we'll get some people in for the interviews now.
Yeah, they're just being added now, so we're just going to do the usual. I ask 2 questions, you ask as many as you need, and we'll go from there. Just waiting for these drivers to come in. Obviously, Risa did win the race on the track anyway. Whether or not he gets to keep it may be up for debate.
Yeah. We'll head off to the showroom on the screen. And thank you for the viewership, everybody. 61, I think, during the race. Outstanding. It's crazy how we get more viewers once the race starts. I don't expect everyone to be here for lights out, but everyone comes to see the end result, which is cool. I mean, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss. Well, you missed a lot actually if you weren't here. When we head to the showroom, who won? Mercedes. I couldn't get my words out then. Here we go.
Not your finest moment, is it?
No.
Right,
I had a stutter halfway through the Grand Prix as well. I was like tap 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 the car.
We've got Fruitful, Joey and Risa have all entered, so we're going to get straight to it, and then we're going to go to Fruitful, who obviously ended the race 3rd on track. And so Fruitful, it all went so well until the final 3 corners. You must be gutted about the puncture, but you've kept 3rd place at the moment, so all in all, a job well done.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I really would have wished that win, not gonna lie. My pace was really good, I felt like, but I made too many mistakes, especially in the first stint. The 5 warnings was just dumb. It was really stupid on my part. So that ruined my race a bit. But the puncture was crazy. 72% on the left rear and I got a puncture. I don't know how that's even possible, but I mean, fair enough. Would have been P3 anyway, probably. So I'm not too mad.
You mentioned obviously the 5 warnings. It's a track that requires a lot of rhythm, isn't it? And it's a track that, because it's so simple, if you make a mistake at one corner, you've lost 2 or 3 tenths, haven't you? And that means that you have to spend the rest of the lap trying to get it back. Is that kind of what it was, or was it just, your head wasn't quite there?
I don't know actually. It's something I do regularly, unfortunately. I just get a warning and then get a second one directly after it. So I think it's just a bit of a loss of concentration on my part, but yeah, I'm not too sure actually.
Well done, Fruitful. An interesting spectacle at the end across the grid. But for you now overtake Bolin in the championship by a point if you get 3rd, or 4 if you get 2nd. That'll move you into the top 3. And then you gain a little bit on Vaporizer because, of course, he had that moment. So, can we see a late Fruitful push in the final 3 races as we did last season?
Last season I had about the same hopes as I have now. So you never know. I really want to push for it. I mean, why not? It's a bit of a reach, but yeah, why not?
Now, talking about this race, you had a really good start. Why did you get such a good start? Was it first phase? Was it second phase? What do you think it was?
First phase was really good. Second phase, a little bit of wheel spin, but Vaporizer just had a really poor start. That's about it, I think. I gained a little bit on Joey, and it wasn't too special of a start. It was Vaporizer messing up the start most that had the most effect on it.
Fair enough. And we move to Catalonia next week. And how do you feel about that?
Not sure. I haven't driven the track for a long time, so I'm not sure. It's gonna be a fun one nonetheless, because I like the track.
Good. Thank you, Fruitful. Well done on the podium, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to Joey. Joey, a tumultuous end to the race. I think it's fair to say. You still may get the win depending on what the stewards say, but you must be pleased because that was by far and away your best race to date in COS. Talk about that last sort of incident from your perspective, because obviously you were the innocent victim. You know, how much did that really mess your exit up, and how much time do you think it cost you?
I knew they were fighting, and they must have had about 2 car lengths. I just took the corner normally, and then I was right afterwards. And obviously, Lucy got the car. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Joe, it's nice to catch up with you after a long time. Hope you're well. Was that a no-line race this evening? How impressed are you with your progress as a driver? Because that's quite remarkable.
Quite impressed. I mean, not that hard, it's no line. But yeah, considering, I think really improving. Austria's just really good.
Can you just check your mic is on shared, Joey, for the last couple of questions? Because they can hear you, but very, very quietly.
Okay, now they should be able to hear me now.
Okay, so basically, he said that he didn't know much of the incident, cost him about 3 seconds, and he wants to win the race when the stewards have a look at the incident. Yeah, I just want to tell you, Joey, after this, if you go on the stream, I don't know how much of the incident you saw, probably not a lot actually, and watch what happened, it'll probably give you a better perspective with me screaming in the background, because I honestly thought he hit you quite hard, and it was going to do something pretty bad.
I was quite lucky not to get damage or to like be facing backwards. I think that was just no ABS sort of kicking in. But
it was like a Gran Turismo thing where they hit you at 200 and it does nothing, kind of.
I didn't react in chat because I had people watching the stream and they told me they were like, we don't think it's Vaporizer's fault, so I didn't say anything. Thought I'd just leave it.
Fair.
Unlike usual.
So, I mean, if you do win the race, I mean, fair play. We move to Spain next week. What do you think of the track? Will you be using no line, and do you think you can get the same result?
Well, I've got a lot of free time without PSGL now, so I'll probably use no line, just practice it. I'm trying to use it off in every league now.
It's just you trying to get into esports, kind of thing, or at least for challenger series.
I don't know. I
or
can't.
just to develop?
I need to learn wheel to do that. So I'm still using my pad. So and my
Wow.
pedals are just broke as well.
Oh.
So yeah. I mean, if I can get the pace and get used to using no line all the time.
Yeah.
Then I've got 5 months before I go to uni to just learn wheel. But yeah, there's no point me learning a wheel whilst I've still not learnt no line.
Well, thank you for great entertainment. I hope you get the result you wanted.
No problem.
And thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
We're going to go to the race winner on track, and that is IFR Risa. Risa, there's only one place to start, really, isn't there? And that's with the firm racing. I think with NSX Vaporizer, I want your point of view. I want to talk about it from your perspective, please.
I felt I left him enough space, but I've seen it from your perspective, and he was on the grass, but I didn't have any red arrows, so I could actually go there. He could have tried outside, in my opinion, but yeah, I'll let the stewards decide. It's their job, so I'll be happy with the position, I guess, because I started P12, and yeah, that's really it.
It was a really impressive opening stint. You were very aggressive from P12. You were up to 7th really after a couple of laps or so. Was a strategy? Was there anything that you had sort of planned in mind, or was it just sort of start the pressure soft and see how the cards fell?
Everything went wrong actually at the start. I bottled the qualifying. Afterwards, I forgot to choose another tire. So I actually started on used soft. Yeah, that was a mistake from my side, but yeah, I can't really remember what something from the race because it was so messy. Yeah, got a good start. Like Mr. K-Mac, so yeah. I don't know.
I had to giggle.
Certainly remember that start. I was one of his victims.
And you were... Yeah, sorry Jack, have you got another question? Or was that your second? I don't know.
I've got one more.
Go for it, yeah. Go for it.
I'm going to go for one of your bonus questions here.
Oh.
With regards to obviously that collision with Vaporizer, could you see, I don't know whether you had the mirror on, were you able to sort of see where he put his car? Because obviously he was on the outside to begin with when you made contact. Were you sort of conscious of where he was moving about, or were you sort of focusing ahead?
I was focusing ahead, and I really tried to cover the inside because I really thought he was going for the outside because that's often a good spot for that corner. So yeah. And then we had contact, and then I got closer to the grass, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, Jack knows more about racing experience than I do, and we had a great discussion for about 2 laps on it because we had a great view. I mean, it's just been submitted now, so I can obviously watch it from his view, and I still don't know. I mean,
I think there'll be a penalty, but
yeah, the problem is, like, obviously there isn't enough room left, but you've got to take it from both POVs, of course, and they'll make a judgment. But anyway, it was a great race. It was 12th on the grid. You were 8th after lap 1, I believe, and then you worked your way up. You were one of the soft to hard runners. We saw quite a few of the top people. Joey, Vaporizer, and out before his crash. Run the soft medium. Were you happy that the soft hard was the correct choice?
I did a mistake last season where we had a rain quali, and I started on the mediums and go for the soft at the end, and the hard runners was just overtaking us as really easy at the end. So I'll never do soft medium again. So yeah, soft hard it is.
Soft hard it is. And it was a soft medium last year, wasn't it? I'm just trying to remember. Was it a soft medium last year?
It was a soft medium, yeah.
Yeah. So that's weird. The cars get grippier, but the tyres get less durable. Interesting. Rita, we moved. Thank you for setting up the lobby, by the way, as always. We
of
moved
course.
to Catalonia. How are you with that circuit?
That
Was not a confident laugh. Okay.
It's not my best circuit, but I really like it. But it's not my best.
Oh, you really like it?
Yeah, it's a nice.
What do you like about it?
Everything actually.
Okay.
Fast corners, and it's really hard to overtake. So you really have to line it up.
I don't know many people who like every bit of Spain. Do you like the final chicane?
The final chicane? No, not really.
Okay.
But everything else
but that.
I like. Yeah.
Okay. And they're changing corner 10, as you know, I think, next year, if they're going round the bike circuit. Do you think that's a good move by the FIA or a bad move?
It's a bad move in terms of overtaking, but we'll see. The cars don't have that much downforce next year, so yeah.
Thank you, Risa. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Jack Prentice.
To sum up, really, it's first of all we're going to have to talk about the F1 Armchairs group. We're going to have to mention to drop them in because they are loyal partners now of Contest of Speed, and that's the place to go for any and all Formula One debates. We've got now just over a week until Imola. I can't remember what the name is, but it's not what it should be.
Mediana Random. That one.
Yeah, well, for me, it's always the San Marino Grand Prix. Back to tonight, and it was a helter-skelter race. That we didn't really know what the result was going to be until right at the end, from last-minute punctures to bits of contact that ruined the main protagonist's race. We'll see what the stewards say, but from the fans' perspective, it was an excellent race, and I'm looking forward to a bit more of a tactical warfare battle in Spain next week.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you to the drivers. And we don't know how the race is going to finish. You'll find out next week when we tell you from what the penalty incidents are. That's it for another week. EU4 tomorrow, AM1 tonight at 2 AM, I believe, if the clocks haven't changed. And we got Endurance who are in Mexico this weekend. So we got a full quali on Friday and a 71 lap race in Mexico, where Storm Limmy has crossed the planet Earth from Singapore and it's somehow made its way to Mexico. How has it done that? I don't know, but it has. So tune in for that. And that's it. We'll see you in Catalonia, Barcelona next week, a week's time, for another EU1 race. There's only 3 races to go, everybody. Spain, Bajan, and Mexico. So please don't miss either one. Thank you. Good night.